Hello students, my name is Niyati Saeed and thanks for watching Edupedia Word videos. My topic for the presentation is digestion and absorption. Okay, so let's proceed towards our topic, that is digestion and absorption of class 11th. Objective of this presentation is to recognize the organs involved in digestion. Secondly, to understand the major functions of each body part in the digestive process. And third, to understand the four major phases of digestion. And last, to understand the function of different enzymes. As we very well know that food is one of the basic requirements of all living organisms. The major components of our food are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Vitamins and minerals are also required in smaller quantities. Food provides energy and organic materials for growth and repair of tissues. The water we take in plays an important role in metabolic processes, and it also prevents dehydration of the body. Macromolecules in food cannot be utilized by our body in their original form. They have to be broken down and converted into simple substances in the digestive system. This process of conversion of complex food substances to simple absorbable form is called digestion and is carried out by our digestive system by mechanical and biochemical methods. Okay, we'll be studying the general organization of the human digestive system in my presentation. Okay, once the food is ingested into the mouth, the action of the upper and the lower jaw crushes and grinds the food. This process is called mastification. So what's the first step? The digestive system begins with the mouth where the food enters. This stage is called as ingestion. Okay? And once the food is ingested into the mouth, the action of the upper and the lower jaw crushes and grinds the food. This process is called mastification. This also stimulates the production of saliva. Okay? Saliva is thoroughly mixed with the food with the action of the jaws, teeth, and the tongue. The food is formed into a bolus. Digestion of food begins in the mouth itself. Okay, due to the presence of the salivary amylase, and the partial digestion of starch takes place here. The digestion is helped by chewing action that breaks down the food into smaller particles. Okay, students? In fact, cooking the vegetables makes them easily digestible. The cell walls are broken down and the enzymes can mix with the starch and digest them faster. The mucus present in the saliva moistens and lubricates the food, making it easier to swallow. Okay? Now, how the swallowing of food takes place? I'll explain that in detail, but we'll study here the stages of digestion. So first stage is ingestion. Okay, after the food enters the alimentary canal, it is digested. It is broken down of complex material or food into the simple subunits. The products of digestion then enter the blood or lymph. This stage is also known as absorption. After the food is absorbed, the nutrients are brought to the body cells. Here, assimilation occurs, where the absorbed nutrients are converted into complex molecules for growth and repair. Okay, students? Finally, the waste products which remain behind must be removed from the body, isn't so? Yeah, and that stage is called as ingestion. Okay? As you can see that the food goes to the mouth and then to the alimentary canal and then to the stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and finally it gets ejects out. Okay. Now after chewing or after mastification, swallowing of the food takes place. Okay. The bolus, this is the bolus, the black dots, is then passed into the pharynx by an involuntary swallowing action. It is made easier by the presence of mucus along the walls of the alimentary canal. Bolus next moves into the esophagus. It moves along the esophagus by contraction of the portion of the esophagus above the bolus and the expansion of the portion below. Thus, it is pushed forward and then the next region is contracted and expanded. This alternate wave of contraction and expansion is called peristalsis. Okay. It is by this process that the food moves along the alimentary canal. No digestion takes place in the esophagus. Okay. Then the food moves into the stomach. The cardiac sphincter guards the opening of the stomach, which is a muscular ring, okay, which we'll be studying in detail, okay, students? The stomach opens only in response to swallowing, okay. The stomach has an acidic pH due to the HCl secreted by the gastric glands. Here, the proteins are broken down into proteoses and peptones. By the action of pepsin and soluble milk protein casein is degraded into insoluble paracasein in children. It then coagulates into calcium paracaseinate. The bolus, thus partially digested, is now called the chyme. Chyme is then passed into the small intestine, the opening of which is guarded by the pyrolic sphincter. Okay. Now, the first portion of the small intestine, duodenum, gets the pancreatic and the bile juices from here. Okay. The intestinal lumen has an alkaline pH due to the bicarbonate salts present in these secretions. The chyme is thus acted upon by the enzymes and the salts present in these two secretions. The starch is converted into maltose by the pancreatic amylase. Okay. And the trypsinogen of pancreatic juice is converted into active trypsin. Trypsin then converts the other proteases like chymotrypsin and carboxypeptidases into their active forms. Thus, the remaining proteins, proteoses and peptones are digested rapidly into peptides and amino acid by the action of different proteases. Okay. The bile juice emulsifies the fat, always remember that, which helps in their conversion into fatty acids, glycerol and monoglycerides by the action of the lipases. And if we talk about the second part of the intestine, then that is jejunum. Jejunum, there is no digestion. Okay, and in ileum, the food is completely broken down in the simplest of forms. Proteins into amino acids and carbohydrates into monosaccharides. This digested mass is now called as chyle and it is in a liquid form. Okay. So first you chew your food and then it goes all the way down your esophagus, and in your stomach food is broken down for protein, as I have just briefed you about that. And in the small intestine, food is made into a liquid of undigested waste material and the water, and then it goes into the large intestine where water is absorbed into the bloodstream. Okay, and then finally it ejects out. Okay, and this process goes on and on. So, high quality energy is in, and then heat is released, and the lower quality energy is out. by the process of ingestion. Okay, this process is showing ingestion and this process is showing ingestion. Okay, students. So human digestive system. This is oral cavity where tongue is there, parotid glands, sublingual glands and submandibular glands are there. 3 salivary glands are there. Okay, then this is pharynx, this is esophagus, this is liver, stomach, which has an opening known as cardiac orifice, and this is known as pyrolic sphincter. Okay, where it is connected to the duodenum of the small intestine. Okay, and this is the small intestine, this is large intestine, and this is finally the anus. Okay, after chewing and swallowing, it takes just 5 to 10 seconds for the food to pass down the esophagus to the stomach, where it spends just 2 to 6 hours being partially digested. Okay, students. Finally, digestion and the nutrient absorption occur in the small intestine over a period of 5 to 6 hours. In 12 to 24 hours, any undigested material passes through the large intestine, and the feces, you can say the excreta, they are expelled through the anus. Okay. As we know that food is one of the basic requirement of all living organisms, and the major components of our food are carbohydrates, protein and the fats. Okay, so we'll be studying this in detail. Okay, a process by which organisms obtain and utilize their food. There are 2 parts to nutrition: ingestion and digestion. Ingestion, the process of taking food into the digestive system so that it may be hydrolyzed or digested. Okay, and the second part to nutrition is digestion, means the breakdown of the complex food into smaller subunits in order to utilize nutrients. Okay, either you can say either chemically and mechanically. Okay, I hope it's clear to all of you. Now, what are the types of nutrients? There are 2 types of nutrients present: micronutrients and the macronutrients. Okay, micronutrients, they are vitamins, minerals and waters, and the macronutrients such as protein, lipid and carbohydrate. Protein we obtain from fishes, dals, and lipid we obtain from fatty food. Okay, and carbohydrate we obtain from our chapatis or rotis. Okay, nutrition is getting and utilization of energy-rich nutrients by an organism. Okay, food provides energy for life activities, materials for growth, and third, maintenance of body temperature and repair of tissues is the last aim of nutrition. Okay, or food you can say. So food nutrients are of several types. You can say carbohydrates, protein, fats. Fat is also known as lipids, vitamins, minerals and water. Okay, so the digestive system, alimentary canal, which has several subdivisions such as mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine and anus. We'll be studying in detail each of them. Okay, and the digestive glands which are associated with that, such as mouth has salivary glands, stomach has gastric glands, intestine has gastric glands, and pancreas and liver, they are the, you can say, associated glands. Okay, Now, this is the proper illustration of a human digestive system, that it has tongue, it has parotid, sublingual and the submandibular gland, it has lower oral cavity, it has pharynx, it has esophagus, it has cardiac orifice and the pyrolic sphincter, which is attached with the duodenum of the small intestine. This is stomach, okay, and this is liver, gallbladder, pancreas, and this is small intestine, and this is large intestine. Large intestine zoom view is this. Ileum of the small intestine is this. This is appendix, which is you can say closely attached with the large intestine, okay, and this is cecum, and this is rectum, and finally the food just moves out from the anus, okay. This is the systematic diagram of the human digestive system. These are the salivary glands which help in the digestion of the food, and this is the oral cavity, or the oral cavity, and from there the bolus moves to the esophagus and finally to the stomach, and then to the small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. And small intestine, they are attached with the associated glands such as liver and the pancreas, gallbladder, okay. Moving on from the mouth, food is masticated and mixed with saliva in the mouth, as I have told you earlier in the first slide. The tongue and the cheek help to push the food into the teeth and also shape the food into a ball or bolus before being swallowed, okay. The bolus is passed through the esophagus, okay, just below the pharynx. Now we'll be studying the histology of the human gut. Human gut is formed of 4 layers: mucosa and the submucosa, okay. You can say that this alimentary canal begins with an anterior opening in the mouth, and it opens out posteriorly through the anus. The mouth leads to the buccal cavity or the oral cavity, okay. Oral cavity has number of teeth and the muscular tongue, and the tooth is embedded in a socket of jawbone, and this type of attachment is called as thecodon. That will be studying in detail, but as of now, human gut is formed of 4 layers. First is mucosa, which is an innermost layer or the moist epithelial layer, which contains secretory and the absorptive cells. Submucosa is a layer of a soft connective tissue just outside the mucosa, okay. Nerves and the blood vessels are also present in this layer. And the third is the muscularis externa. This is the outer to the submucosa, a smooth muscle layer it is, and inner circular and the outer longitudinal muscles are present in the muscularis externa. And finally, the outermost fibrous layer is known as serosa, okay. So this is human gut, or you can say the alimentary canal, okay. So this is the histology illustration. This is the serosa, which is an outermost fibrous layer, and this is the outer longitudinal muscle, or you can say that it is a muscularis externa, and this pink part is submucosa, which is made up of soft connective tissue layer just outside the mucosa, and the inner into the submucosa there is a mucosa. Mucosa is the innermost moist epithelial layer which contains secretory and the absorptive cells, okay, and this is the lumen from where the bolus just goes down the way, okay. Now we'll study ingestion in detail. Mouth, it has mechanical digestion, okay students. Mechanical digestion is only possible by teeth. Teeth helps in the breaking of a complex food into the smaller subunits, and then it is a chemical digestion which is held by saliva, and saliva has an enzyme known as amylase, which is an enzyme that digests the starch. And it also has mucin, which helps in this. You can say that it's a slippery protein. It's a mucus kind, okay, that protects the soft lining of the digestive system, and it also lubricates food for the easier swallowing, okay. This is the tongue. Saliva is also there in the oral cavity. It is a bolus that's going down the way. It is a epiglottis. And this is the glottis. This is the esophageal sphincter, which gets contracted and relaxed also, okay. And buffers are also there in the mouth that helps in the digestion because it neutralizes acid to prevent the tooth decay, okay. And antibacterial chemicals are also there which kill bacteria that enters mouth with food, okay. Mouth is there to break up the complex food into the smaller subunits. It also helps in the digestion of the starch. It has antibacterial that kills the germs that prevents them from the tooth decay, okay, as we have just read. And it also moistens the food. Now we'll study mouth in detail, okay. Mechanical and chemical digestion takes place here, okay. Food is chewed or masticated mechanically, okay. A bolus or the lump is formed with saliva and the tongue, okay. Now come to the mouth and the buccal cavity. This is the structure of mouth. This is the upper lip. This is the lower lip. These are the teeth which are embedded in the gums. This is a hard palate which is in the front side. This is velum. This is the soft palate at the back. And this is ulva. And this is pharynx. Okay. And these are the tonsils. And finally, this is the tongue. Mouth is for the reception of food. Buccal cavity, oral or the mouth cavity, it consists of palate, which is an anterior hard palate, and the posterior. This is anterior hard palate, and this is the posterior soft palate. These are the teeth which are embedded on the gums. Muscular tongue for mastication and ingestion and degglutination, or for the swallowing. Tongue contains taste buds at the back. On either side of the tongue, tonsils present. So, in short, mastication is the action of the teeth and the jaws working together to break down the food. Food needs to be chewed to be broken down into pieces smaller enough to swallow. Breaking the food down also gives it a larger surface area for digestive enzymes to work on. There are two different types of teeth in the mouth. Incisors to tear food, for example meat, and molars to grind the food. Okay? I hope it's clear to all of you how food is ingested by mouth. Okay, now comes the teeth. Teeth are used for mastication. The nature and the mode of arrangement of teeth is called dentition. Okay, the oral cavity has a number of teeth and the muscular tongue. Tooth is embedded in the socket of the jaw bones, okay, and this type of attachment is called as thecodont. So human dentition are of three types: heterodont, thecodont, and the diphodont. Majority of mammals, including human beings, form two sets of teeth during their life. A set of temporary milk or deciduous teeth replaced by a set of permanent or adult teeth. This type of dentition is called diphodont. An adult human has 32 permanent teeth, which are of 4 different types. Heterodont dentition, namely incisors, canines, premolars, and the molars. Okay, arrangement of teeth in each half of the upper and the lower jaw in the order I, that is for incisors, C for canines, PM for premolars, and M if is for molar, is represented by the dental formula, which in human is 2123 upon 2123. Okay. So thecodont, each tooth is embedded into the socket of the jawbone. Diphodont, which that has two sets of teeth during the lifetime, deciduous teeth replaced by permanent teeth, and the heterodont, all 32 teeth are of 4 different types: incisors, canines, premolars, and the molars. Okay, students. Heterodont dentition, as I have just told you, that it has different kind of teeth, that are incisors, that primary function is to cut the food. Canine is for tearing, and premolars and molars for crushing. Always know that premolars and the molars together form a cheek teeth that have cusp. Okay. What do the different teeth do? Incisors, it cut; canines, it tears; premolars, it rip; and molars, they chew. Okay, students. Thecodont, as I have told you, that they are placed in the jaw sockets. Okay. Now comes the diphodont dentition, in which teeth appear twice in the lifetime. There are milk, which are also known as deciduous teeth. They are 20 in number, and it develops at 6 to 7 months of birth. They are replaced by permanent teeth at the age of 6 to 7, and the permanent teeth, 32, are in number. Okay, these are incisors, these are canines, this is molar. Okay. And this is the lower set, and this is the upper set of the teeth. Okay. The last 4 molars appear only at the age of 18, so they are also called as wisdom teeth. Okay, students. Now the dental formula, the formula that explains the kind and the number of the teeth. Incisors, they have 2 on the upper set and 2 on the lower set. Canine, they have 1 in the upper and 1 in the lower set. And premolars, they have 2 in the upper as well as in the lower set of the teeth. Okay. And finally, if we take LCM and multiply it with 2, then answer comes out to be 32. Okay. Human dental formula of permanent teeth. This is the human dental formula of the permanent teeth, and the dental formula of the deciduous teeth are: incisors, they have 2 on the upper set of the teeth and 2 on the lower set of the teeth. And C, that is canine, they have 1 on the upper set and 1 on the lower set. Premolars, they have 0 on the upper set, 0 on the lower set. Molars, 2 on the upper set and 2 in the lower sets. And if we multiply it by 2, then answer comes out to 20. This is incisor, which is denoted by A. 6 to 9 months, it occurs by the 6 to 9 months. Okay. And B, this B and B, they are lateral incisors. C and C, they are canines, and D and D, they are first molars, and E and E are the second molars. What food are good for our teeth? Of course, tomato, milk, egg, and fruits and vegetables. Okay. And foods that cause tooth decay, they are tea, chocolates, pastries, and cakes. Saliva. Saliva contains the enzyme amylase, which breaks down the starch into simple sugars. It also moistens the food, which allows easier passage through the gastrointestinal tract. Saliva is secreted from glands found under the tongue and at the back of the mouth. The sight, smell, the taste, or even the thought of food will start to increase the amount of saliva secreted. As you can see in this cartoon, your mouth starts to water as you think about eating that lovely pizza. The water is called saliva, or you can say spit, and it is not just the water, it is the amalgamation of enzymes in it. Okay, now we'll study how swallowing takes place. This is tongue, this is pharynx, this is esophageal sphincter, which gets contracted and relaxed depending on how food is taken. Okay, and the food bolus of this is the food bolus, and this is the epiglottis, which is in the position of up. Okay, so how it takes. The second step is when this food bolus goes down the way, as you can see that it has reached here, then this epiglottis, which was up in the position, it goes down. Okay, this is epiglottis which got down, and glottis up and close, and then there is a esophageal sphincter which got contracted at the onset of the food bolus, got relaxed here. Okay, so what happens? Epiglottis, this is epiglottis sphincter which got relaxed, flap of the cartilage it is, and it closes the trachea because it can interfere with your breathing process also. And food travels down the esophagus, then the peristalsis, in which involuntary muscle contraction takes place to move the food along. Okay, along to the stomach. I hope it's clear to all of you from this illustration. So which type of digestion is the following? Chewing a cell time. I know, student, it's a mechanical digestion, or you can say physical digestion. Okay, physical or the mechanical digestion, it involves physically breaking the food into smaller pieces. By breaking a food into smaller pieces, mechanical digestion increases the surface area of the food available for chemical digestion. For example, teeth chop and grind food, stomach churns the food. Okay, now students, tell me the answer of the second question. Saliva breaking the cell time down into the molecules of glucose. Which digestion is this? Of course, the chemical digestion. Chemical digestion is the breaking down of large molecules such as starch, protein, and the fat into the smaller soluble molecules for easy absorption by the body. Chemical digestion involves digestive enzymes, enzymes that breaks insoluble molecules into the smaller molecules. Example of digestive enzymes are proteases, which break up protein into amino acids, amylase, which break up carbohydrates into sugars, and lipases, which break up fats and other lipids into fatty acids and the glycerol. Okay, your tongue breaking pieces of the hamburger apart. Which type of digestion is that? Of course, the mechanical digestion. And the pepsin in your stomach breaking the hamburger into amino acid. Which digestion is that? Chemical digestion. So this comes to an end. In the second section of my presentation, we'll be studying esophagus, epiglottis, and all the subdivisions in detail. So till then, stay tuned and keep watching Edupedia Word videos. Thank you.